The Pain of Duality. Written by Resident Sunshine. Read to you by Evie is Evil. Okay, so this chapter 1, I think, just for heads ups, chapter 1 is just an alter cheat sheet because this is a DID fic. And I think I'm going to just post chapter 1 first and possibly chapter 2 on the same day. So you're getting both chapters. But I'm just going to keep them separate for sake of making it easier to skip this bit if you want to. Summary. Tim knew Jason was alive. There was no body, thus no proof of death. He knew Jason was alive because somewhere out there in the wide depth of the multiverse, he knew his spark still shone. He knew this to be true, and he was going to find him. He was going to prove that he wasn't losing his mind, even if it felt like it, that he could do this. But what will he do now that he found a way to travel to a whole other universe? Will he find his way to Jason? Will he be able to go home again? Will Jason even want to come with him? And why is he starting to lose so much time again? But more importantly, who are all these people who seem so set on making sure he is okay? He's fine. Completely fine. Even if the voices are getting worse, and he feels a bit like he's breaking. He'll be fine. He just needs to get Jason home. Then everyone can be normal again. Or the Tim-focused sequel about found family and rekindling bonds, a character study into trauma and a deep dive into Tim and Jason's complicated sibling bond. Follow-up to Stray Little Bat, but works as a standalone. Going to be super slow to update until Stray Little Bat is done, but I wanted to get it in chronologically. Notes. Inspired by Stray Little Bat by Resident Sunshine. Thank you to all my readers from Stray Little Bat. Love you dearly. For those who skipped part 1 and just want the rundown, basic story is that Jason died saving Tim, but his body and soul got mixed up, and he found his way into the Marvel Universe, a mash between comic, cinematic, and a dash of fanon. Jason's soul winds up in the body of that Earth's Jason Todd, who died in an explosion saving someone. Afterwards, there is no body, so Tim starts looking for answers, refusing to accept that Jason is dead. He comes to the conclusion that Jason got teleported to another Earth, based around the known dimensional travel in the DCU, mixed with some evidence of samples not belonging to their Earth. I recommend reading chapters 18, 24, and 25 of Stray Little Bat to get a general idea of dynamics in this Gotham, but it's by no means required. A reader note from me. At this current time, I don't plan on reading Stray Little Bat. I have read quite a bit of it on my own, but I don't plan on podficking it. Alright, Chapter 1, Alter Cheat Sheet. Tim Drake, the main host. Age 17. Pronouns, he, him. Unaware of DID. Thinks other alters are a sign he is losing his mind, or a voice in his head. Often fronts day to day. Takes care of Wayne Enterprise, and will occasionally front during patrol, usually on slower nights. Carrie. Caretaker, internal self-helper. Makes sure that Tim is taken care of, and that the system runs smoothly. Doesn't forget often anymore, but fronted often as a child to cook, clean, and make sure Tim was staying healthy. Still makes sure things are going smoothly and encourages self-care, or being selfish occasionally. Pronouns, she, her. Age, fluctuates, mid to late 20s, 26 to 28. Acts more as a mother figure to the alters in the headspace. Robin, protector/introject. Based around Tim's own views on heroes and being in danger. Fronts often with patrol or when Tim gets too emotional. Much more clinical and to the point. Age. Fluctuates. Pronouns. They, them. Is aware of Carrie and JJ alters. Based around the previous Robins, mostly Dick and Jason, and how Tim internalized them as heroes and protectors. Robin struggles with identity, especially after losing the mantle, and channels Tim's own struggles as well. JJ, Joker Jr. Developed later on after being captured and tortured by the Joker. Main trauma holder. Is much more sporadic when he fronts, and often ends up getting Tim hurt or in worse situations accidentally. A guaranteed way to get him to front is reminders of Joker or Harley Quinn, electricity, or to trigger another alter. Age, 10. Pronouns, any and all. Is allergic to shellfish. Has synesthesia and will often like or dislike people based on what colors he gets from them. Much more outgoing and energetic than others. JJ has a hard time understanding social rules and boundaries, and will accidentally trample over both. JJ is also one of the few alters that will openly stim. Nicknames. Carrie equals mom, Harley Quinn equals mommy, Joker equals daddy, Bruce fluctuates between dad and Bruce, views other alters as older brothers. Red, or RR, prosecutor, wants to protect self from more duress, and will often self-sabotage to do so. Holds mostly anger, and is usually the one to finally snap, wanting people to betray them now rather than later. Very stubborn, and has a hard time seeing the good in others. Main trauma holder. Age, 21. Pronouns, he, him. Only Carrie is aware of him at this point. Formed more recently as a break-off from Robin. Timmy, little alter. Formed to help cope with childhood trauma. Age, 5. Pronouns, any. Often fronts when no one else is as a last resort, so not often. Selectively mute, more often than not. Formed predominantly to go to social gatherings when Tim was young, where it was better to be seen and not heard, allowing Tim to have a more enjoyable childhood. And that is the end of chapter 1. There's no author's notes at the end, and reader's notes from me. Sorry if my voice sounded weird at all, or I was stuttering a lot. It's nearly midnight, but I had sudden energy to record this, and then my brain was like, okay, you're not ready to record this in the middle, so that's great. But yeah, I do really enjoy this fic. But, yeah, I do hope this one was enjoyable. And I'm excited to actually start reading the main bit. So, thanks for listening. Bye!